Hi, it's Olivia, aka Biblioghoul, and I'm filming a lot of videos at the same time to get ready for vacation, so if you see me wearing the same thing, that is why. Today I want to talk about all the books I want to read in April, and it is a long list, but it has a lot of shorter books on it, and I really couldn't narrow this down any further at all, so I'm kind of taking this as here are more books that I can possibly read, but we'll see what I'm in the mood for and what is available at my library at the time. So April is my birthday month, and I wanted to definitely get a book in there that I've been anticipating for a long time. So that book is going to be Naamah by Sarah Blake. I recently read another Sarah Blake novel for the Climate Fiction Book Club. Clean Air, I think it was called, and I had kind of a meh experience with that. I thought it was fine, but it didn't really do anything for me, so I'm hoping that this book is better. It's been kind of like a 5-star prediction for me for forever. It is a retelling of the Noah's Ark story, and I think the wife is like unnamed in that originally or something. And in this one, it's from her perspective, and it's queer, and I've had success with queer religious things in the past, with Matrix being one of my favorite books I've read this year, so hopefully that is a similar experience. I also wanted to take the time to actually read about some revolutionary women this month, so I'm going to pick up this book, Lucy Parsons, An American Revolutionary by Carolyn Asbaugh, and I just picked this up originally out of curiosity because a leftist bookstore near me is named after Lucy Parsons, so this will follow Lucy's life and involvement in the labor movement, the socialist movement, so I'm really excited to get into it. Similarly, I want to pick up Writing Red, an anthology of American women writers, 1930 to 1940. And I believe this has been around for a long time, but it was recently released with a foreword by Toni Morrison. So I don't know the specific ideas it will cover, but I'm interested in what activism looked like for these women in the 1930s. And through the Great Depression. So excited for that one. So next is my most anticipated book for this TBR. It is Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. I've heard Books and Bao rave about this book, and it sounds like everything that I love in one book. Well, maybe not everything, but it is described as gothic, and it is about 2 women, and one is doing this expedition in the deep sea and comes back kind of transformed. And so it's about that. I don't know if there's a little bit of like a sci-fi, like horror element to that, but also it's about a relationship and that breaking down. So love and grief and this really, like personal character-based reflections. And the cover of the paperback version is just perfection. So I think the hardcover comes out in July, but the paperback, which is the one that I want anyways, is already out, I think. Honestly, this had me super confused, but I need to read this book as soon as possible, so hopefully I can get to it this month and I don't have to wait until July. That would be the worst. And also, since April is National Poetry Month, I thought I'd pick up some things like that this month. I don't typically read a ton of poetry, so I'm not the best at understanding or speaking about it, but wanted to try. I have read Mary Oliver before and just loved it, and I saw, I think it was Jack talking about Upstream in his video about Andrew Garfield's favorite books, and of course I want to be consuming the same ideas as Andrew Garfield, so I will pick this up. I think it'll be wonderful to read on my vacation too, as I'm seeing these beautiful things in nature and then reading these beautiful words about nature. I'd also really love to pick up Time as a Mother by Ocean Vuong. I loved On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. It was probably one of my favorite books that came out that year, but I don't know if I'll be able to get a copy of this at my library because there's like 5 million people already clamoring for it, so we will see. And the last poetry book, which I've been meaning to get to for forever, is Bluets by Maggie Nelson, and this is a meditation on the color blue, and I'm a total sucker for all books like this that just reflect on a specific color in different circumstances, so I can't wait to pick that one up. I'm also feeling some woodsy, planty vibes for April, being a Taurus, so I wanted to pick up The Botany of Desire by Michael Pollan. It says he masterfully links 4 fundamental human desires: sweetness, beauty, intoxication, and control, with the plants that satisfy them: the apple, the tulip, marijuana, and the potato. So, of course, I want to read about potatoes, and I'm interested in the aspect of control there, what that will focus on. I love reading about food, so looking forward to that one. So the next book is Silver in the Wood, and this just has the most beautiful cover ever, giving Lord of the Rings vibes for sure. And I saw Stephanie talk about this book on her channel, and I half know what it's about, and I'm half going into it for straight vibes. The description says it is a wildly evocative and enchanting story of old forests, forgotten gods, and new love. Just magnificent. And the last book in this sort of realm is Gathering Moss, a natural and cultural history of mosses. And this is by the same author of Braiding Sweetgrass, which I just adored. And I know my friend at Well Traveled Books loved it. So yes, I am a lover of moss. And I have no idea what lies in store for me in learning about the cultural history of it. But damn it, I'm there. So again, in terms of picking up authors that I have loved in the past, I'm excited to be picking up another Becky Chambers book. I saw a few different channels talk about this book within the same day, so usually when I see that, I take it as just a sign that I need to have this book in my life right now. I think one of them was Tasmin, but it is to be taught if fortunate, and it is super short. And again, I half know the plot. I know that it takes place in space, which isn't my favorite trope, but I loved A Psalm for the Wild Built, and if it has that same tender sensory language and reflection on society and mental health, I know that I will love it. I also want to pick up The Employees, a workplace novel of the 22nd century, which is exactly what it sounds like, a sci-fi dystopian type look at work, which I am all for. Sunny putting this book on their TBR made me remember how much I wanted to read this book. I feel like I was reading a lot of sci-fi recently, so I wanted to take a bit of a step back, but The Employees is 136 pages, so you know, that's not too big of an ask, and I think I will love it. I also posted a video of my reactions to the Women's Prize and the International Booker's Prize long lists, which I've never paid attention to before, so that was interesting. Now there's a lot of books I want to read from those lists. Not all of them are short, and also not all of them are widely popular, which is interesting. So some of these my library and bookstores did not have, so it will be a question of if I can get this. So I'll just name off a few of them that I'm interested in reading. If the mood strikes me and if I'm able to access them, I will pick them up. So the first book is Elena Knows, which follows a mother who is going hard after her daughter was murdered and trying to get the police and the community to not leave her daughter's memory behind and actually solve what happened. So I love stories like this with intense parents on a mission. Actually, I guess the next book I'm interested in is also about mothers. It's called The Book of the Mother, but this one is totally different. It's following a mother who is just like larger than life type character, but then ends up falling into patterns that are dark and how her relationship with her daughter, I want to say, proceeds from there. So yes, there's also happy stories mostly. This is a bunch of queer short stories that are a blend of science fiction, absurdism, and alternative historical realism, which interests me, and the cover is just my favorite shade of blue, so it's drawing me in. There's also The Sentence by Louise Erdrich, which is about a haunted bookstore. Sounds fun. Salt Lick, which is a dystopian sci-fi in the face of climate disaster type book with talking cows. So yeah. And The Island of Missing Trees, which follows this couple falling in love and the daughters return to the island to learn about family history. And Olga Dies Dreaming, I've been wanting to read for a while if I can get it. So yeah, that was a lot of books really quickly, but at least you're seeing what's on my radar. If you have any that you've loved and I should prioritize, or ones that you'd like to buddy read with me, definitely let me know. And thank you for watching.